Like, when are we going to stop making excuses for this? When are we going to wake up and say, we look at you and we see your labored breathing, your red cheeks, the fact that you're barely able to communicate with us in a few minute sentence without. Hello all, and welcome back for another video. So today we're going to be taking a look at the weird side of TikTok again. Basically, you have a plethora of people going out there trying to create a lane for body positivity. And I get it, like everybody wants to feel comfortable in the skin that they're in, and you should absolutely love yourself. But part of loving yourself is taking care of your well-being and your health. So today we're going to take a look at one of these millennials who's got everything all screwed up. Let's check it out. Shall we?
So let's do that while I get ready. I'm Hannah. I'm currently 31 years old and I go by she, her pronouns, originally from Scotland, but have moved around a lot and now settled in Yorkshire, England. So my accent is a little bit all over the place and I'm not offended if you can't place it straight away. I suffered from binge eating disorder for 20 years of my life. And I have now been in recovery for around a year.
Okay, so really quick, I just want to stop it. First of all, again, she's one of those, super into the millennial generation of using pronouns that are actually appropriate for you. But it's just, one of those things like, why even mention that? Like, you're clearly a woman. Like, I don't know.
I thought that's the case too. When somebody mentions pronouns now, it's normally I refer to, they. They don't use the actual right pronoun that most people will use with them. If you see a guy, you'd be like, hey, that's him over there, not that's they and stuff. So the fact that I refer to pronouns her, she, most people would refer to you as that.
I have no idea what she's going for with that, but she said that she suffered from binge eating disorder for more than 20 years of her life. So she's literally 31 years old. And since, I guess, 11 years old, she's been binge eating. Well, I don't really know what they mean by binge eating. I don't know. So I'm going to look it up really quick. It says binge eating is when you eat a large amount of food in a short amount of time and you feel you can't control what or how much you are eating. Okay. And so she's been dealing with that most of her life. So I can definitely see why her weight is what it is. She's obviously, what would you say? I mean, she's got to be an easy 300 pounds probably.
I won't lie. I was looking at her breast.
I mean, but she has breasts, but we can just.
But yeah, most of that is probably due to the excess weight.
Because she's got big legs and a big stomach too, and so I would put her at 300, and so that's pretty big.
She got to be over 300.
Maybe she is. I'm not really good at guessing weights. I mean, I'm just assuming that she's not very tall.
You're right. Assuming that she's short, probably around 300. If she's tall, she's well
350,
over 300.
But I mean, just to be 31 years old and already having this much weight, and I don't think she has any children based upon her, I guess she's on Instagram too. This is where I found this particular video. It's called Queen Beast Says. So if you guys want to go ahead and check out her Instagram, you can. I didn't see any children, so there's no blaming that, on your kids. So it's like, okay. But moving on.
And in doing that recovery, I have learned how to better regulate my emotions, because that's one of the reasons why I binge ate, because I didn't really know how to process or express my emotions, and now I do. And one of the reasons, or one of the methods I use to express my emotions is through my style, my fashion. And that coincides with another big passion of mine, which is fat, plus size, curvy, bigger body, whatever you want to say, representation. We have so few of it in a positive light.
Not in 2023. I'm thinking there's more women like her and Lizzo than like even normal weight people at this point.
A thought just occurred to me, and I wish I knew somebody who was a model of some sort that I would just want to ask, like, when I say a model, I'm talking about maybe the skinnier, more petite size models. Be like, have you ever been confronted by somebody who you would consider overweight, and were they, what should I say, were they aggressive with you because of, you being skinny, or like trying to say like, hey, skinny girls are out. It's all about the fat girls now.
You know what? In my experience, because I do have some experience in modeling, I was considered a plus size model because back when I was doing it, I was like a size 10 or 12. So that's not exactly skinny, but it's not exactly this big either. So it's kind of like somewhere in the middle, I guess. But either way, I was modeling. And there was definitely that group of people that you would look at and you'd be like, man, did you eat today? You know, like they were so skinny. And I even talked to one person. They were like literally talking about, it was a guy actually too, and he was really, really skinny. And he talked about how like he hadn't eaten in like 3 days and like it was a good thing. You know what I mean? But you know, no one made him feel bad. It was almost like he latched on to all the plus size models and kind of hung around them. And there were skinny women too. And then there were just like maybe your girls that are a size 5 or 6 that were just normal weight. So I don't know, like, I guess it's so hard to say. You know, nowadays, because so many people are overweight, they do feel like they have to represent bigger bodies. Like you can't even go into a normal store now without seeing fat mannequins, fat pictures on the wall. And I'm not talking I'm not talking a little overweight. I'm not talking curves. I'm talking like obesity.
But you know what? You brought up a good point because you said he kind of latched onto the plus size models, and it's like you know how you always see that opposites attract, where sometimes you see that really skinny guy with that big girl or whatnot, and sometimes you'll even see a woman who's not so well. She might not be on the skinny side, but she's definitely not big, somewhere in between, and you'll see like a really big guy that she's with, and it's like. Does it happen just as a coincidence? Were you with that
gay.
partner?
So he was probably just befriending them. I don't think he was definitely easily identifiable as gay. Like, I mean, he was, you know, so that was probably more so why he got with the bigger girls. But it just was like one of those things where nobody made him feel bad for being skinny. And from what I noticed, everybody was pretty much treated the same. She's just trying to, again, put out information because she felt like, I guess, her size wasn't represented, and she said that's why she's got binge eating disorder. So that's interesting that she says she's no longer suffering from it, but yet she's still, 300 plus pounds?
So I guess her way of using that, if I go by what you just said, is, okay, I didn't see nobody like me, so I ate more. And now that I see people like me, I've come to accept
and now
that
I'm
I eat more.
Put it on Front Street, be on Instagram in my literal underwear, and we're going to watch her get dressed in these, like, massive size shorts. Like, did you see how big those shorts were? Mm-hmm. I mean, they were like literally, do I need to rewind it? Those were some big shorts. They look like a freaking tent.
That shallow how.
Yeah, it was big. Like, and she put it over her stomach. Like, I guess I've seen that, but like usually
I've only seen that with guys.
Old guys.
The old guys that they lose their stomach and their stomach disappears and their waist becomes up up to their chest right here.
Right. I mean, look at where her pant line is, and her belt is like literally underneath her breast. Like that ain't even on her waist. That's like above her waist. But there's more.
And I know the reason why is because of how fat bodies are represented in mainstream media, how they're demonized, how other people treat them. You know, unfortunately, the comics section can be a war zone, and I have learned to really love my body throughout my recovery, and I am in such a place of content and happiness that, and I apologize, it's maybe a bit too egotistical, but I needed representation, to see representation, to be inspired by bigger people living their best lives, looking awesome, doing it. And I want to do that too. I want to step into that space.
I'm going to make a comment on 2 things I heard. Like, number 1, she's talking about how people are treated at this size and stuff. And it's like, nobody treats you worse than yourself. Point blank, period. You're putting so much unhealthy food into your body, and you're putting it in at a large amount. You know what I'm saying? So you're obviously not eating, sticks and carrots. Like we can only imagine your normal diet is probably fast food, donuts, chips, cookies, ice cream, like the worst of the worst. That's how you're able to maintain this weight. So not only are you eating bad, but you expect other people to treat you better than you even treat yourself. That was the first thing that I have to say. Mm-hmm. The second thing that I had a problem with is the fact that she's just like,
oh, I love myself more than I ever have before.
Misery loves company.
How do you love yourself? You're not treating yourself right at this point in your life. You can't say that you are. How do you love yourself? Like,
okay.
What does she mean? Just you love the way you look? Or
I'm pretty sure we've all been in a situation where it's like, dang, I got to deal with this. And then you look around and you see somebody who's dealing with some stuff that's on your level, if not worse. And you be like, well, that guy's too. I guess I shouldn't feel too bad. I feel that's kind of how she's going, because it's like her eating disorder didn't really change until she started seeing more representation. And I mean, she talks about being treated bad or demonized. Yes, I'll be honest, back in the day when I was younger, that was the case. But now I feel like society has kind of flipped that in a way where it's like petite models or just, what should I say, normal size weight people, or even in the case of the letter people, straight people, people born and remain as their gender are being attacked now. And it's almost like you guys are attacking, and it's like, I don't know.
They're taking it too far, just like they did when they allowed feminism to kind of take its hold. Which the thing is, though, like, here's the thing about these fat acceptance people: they all literally die young. Like, you'll hear about them for a while. You'll see people like her, and then probably around the time they make it between 40, 50 something years old, they're gone. They're like not in existence anymore. There was a lady I watched who had been close to 800 pounds, and she had started her own like salon for bigger women like her, because she had went into a normal salon and broke the chair. So she felt like, we need these industrial sized chairs for people like me so that we can exist in this world and be happy. Problem was, she never really changed until it was too late. And then she died, I think somewhere around 37 or 38 years old.
They want to preach about the fat acceptance. But if that's the case, how come most of these people never go after another fat person?
Yeah, you don't ever see two fat people dating.
I mean, let's okay, Lizzo.
I mean, sometimes.
Lizzo don't. She's that big, but Lizzo don't want a big guy.
Yeah, we've not seen her date anybody. Well, we've not seen her date anybody.
Most of the time, these big women, they want people. When I say the total opposite, they'll either be super skinny or they will be super athletic. I won't say super athletic, but they'll be quite athletic. So they'll be somewhat muscular toned and all that stuff, and it strikes me, it's like you preach it, but yet you don't even want your partner to be that.
Yeah. And then didn't you hear about all this controversy with Lizzo anyway, about how she was like having fat dancers and models in her videos and everything and mistreating them? And it's like, okay, so obviously
you're fat, but you're fat as well. Shut up.
But I'm the head BIC. Like, all right, there's a little more.
And be the inspiration I wish I saw when I was younger. Fill the void that needs to be filled. I want...
On a side note, notice how she's like literally gasping for air, and all she's done so far is just put on some clothes. Like,
wait, are you serious? I gotta look at that.
Pay attention to how she's talking and how you can tell that her breathing is labored, and also her cheeks are like really red, like she done ran a mile or something.
I don't know, if I could give one person the courage that this is possible to be happy and content in a plus size fat body, then I mean, I'm on to a winner.
Why is her goal to get other people to realize that there's happiness in a plus size body, but you're like literally gasping for air? That doesn't sound like it should be happy to me. Like,
misery loves company.
I guess that's probably the best way to put it.
I express myself and my values, my morals through TikTok, through my fashion, through my other videos. I have a podcast where we talk about fat representation in media, because all of this has an impact on how we perceive our own bodies and how we love ourselves. It's incredibly important, and we need more voices. And that's why I do what I do.
That's why she does what she does.
You know what? I won't even say accepting yourself is such a bad thing. You can have somebody who eats healthy, does everything to keep their bodies like at top peak physical condition, goes outside, gets hit by a bus. You can have somebody who smoked. We've all heard the stories. Well, smoked 20 years or 30 years and nothing ever happened to them or anything. Or eat like crap, nothing ever happened to them. I mean, hey, I'm naturally skinny. Like, yes, I do go to the gym sometimes, I've been out of it. But for the most part, even when I wasn't going to the gym for almost a year, 2 years, I still kind of remained around this weight. It's genetics. But the thing that gets me is, if that's the lifestyle that you chose for yourself and you want to be happy, then that's fine. If you want to tell other people, if you are okay with how you are, then be happy with it, then that's fine. But I feel like some people, they try to go about it the wrong way. They're like, they don't tell you like, hey, but it could be a risk to your health. But if you're okay with that, by all means, go for it. Kind of like skydiving. It's like, you could potentially not pull your parachute, or it could have a malfunction and you die. If you're okay with that, sign these papers.
Right, but instead, the larger community And I'm, again, we're not talking about a person that's, 10, 15, 20 pounds overweight. We're talking about the people that are easily 100 or more. So if you're, a little overweight, like, I'm not knocking you, but it's when you take it too far and you allow yourself to kind of just, you already know that it's not plus size at that point. It's not me having a little more, a few extra inches around. It's you being, you taking up 2 seats on an airplane. It's you shortening your lifespan by 10 to 15 years. It's you destroying the healthy body that you were given at birth over time and just not even tried in any way to make it better. You just like binge ate for 20 years. So not only did you probably make yourself more susceptible to diabetes because of all those blood sugar changes by eating too much in one sitting, but now you're carrying around excess weight, which is bad for your back, bad for your knees, bad for all of your joints, really, and your heart.
I recently had started going back to the gym because my physical therapist said it would be good for my knee. And while I was going to the gym, I was like, well, if I'm going for my knee, why don't I try to beef up as well? And this is my honest opinion. I could be wrong. And like I said, it's all genetics. So some people could gain faster than me. But I was eating a lot of protein bars, drinking a lot of protein shakes, trying to eat more chicken and broccoli and all that. And after dang near 4 months of going to the gym, like consistently, like 5 days a week, I only gained 5 pounds. Only 5 pounds. And I just thought, wow, it's like it must be much easier to lose weight. And this is just my opinion. Don't crucify me. Much easier to lose weight than it is to gain muscle.
It is. It is absolutely. I mean, losing body fat is just as simple as not eating as much. You don't really even have to work out, but actually physically putting on muscle, you have to work out. You have to eat, a certain amount of calories and protein to do that, but it's for fat people, gaining weight is probably the easiest thing in the world. Like just being less active and eating,
Or just eat what you love and more of it.
Right. I mean, but it's just the empowerment issue for me. Like I have no problem with people loving themselves. Again, and for the people that carry a few extra pounds, this isn't to be offensive. This is more so for the people that are promoting the morbid obesity. Like, because that's the one that's going to shorten your lifespan. That's the one that's going to affect not only yourself, but other people. I mean, we've all seen at least one episode of 600 Pound Life and saw how detrimental one person in a household being 600 pounds is to everyone, even the healthcare system. So like when you're not contributing to society, you're sitting at home, you're collecting health insurance, food, housing, by simply existing because of a disability that you gave yourself, because you don't want to not overdo it on the resources that are already scarce in America. That's why food prices are so high right now, because so many people are overeating. So if we just got to the point where we weren't overeating so much and actually started to make the food last, then just like everything else with supply and demand, the prices would go down.
That could totally be taken in the wrong way. That could be, so what you're trying to say is you fat people starve yourselves a little so that more food can go around.
No, yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but that's true. Like, wouldn't you say that it's okay to indulge every once in a while? It's okay to, take yourselves out for a nice, special treat. You don't need ice cream every day. You don't need cookies and cake every day.
I'm more of a conspiracist person, so I think that the food prices is more on a governmental.
You can think that if you want to, but it's also with inflation and supply and demand. So like,
which inflation is also a part of a governmental.
It is, but I'm telling you, you can't tell me that if we stop and we think about it, if everybody just began to actually portion out their food, count their calories, make sure that they make the amount of food that they bought last a certain amount of time, and then refuse to go to the store and buy more food, you telling me that if everybody accumulatively did that the supply and demand would change and therefore prices would go down?
No. The reason why is because then what they would do is they would stop producing so much food. And if they stop producing so much food, it would still keep the price.
That would be over time though. But like say if within the next 30 days, we all just got on a challenge where we're not going to buy fast food. We're just going to...
Food is produced daily. So therefore, I mean...
No, but okay, well, maybe not, like you said, at the grocery store, okay. But just say, if like everybody, let's just say all my subscribers who watch this video stopped going to a fast food restaurant, and not even just mine, like let's say PewDiePie's entire subscribers just decided to not go to fast food, McDonald's, for at least a month. You telling me that
You
McDonald's
will
wouldn't
further
be forced
cripple
to...
the economy because you
But
know
that's
how
just
many people
McDonald's,
work
though.
at McDonald's. Think about it. If so many people work at McDonald's,
And
now,
that's for 30 days.
now the
It's
thing
not
is,
going to affect
McDonald's
the
is
economy
a
in 30 days.
you'd
It's
be
just
sur-
going to affect the supply. So there's going to be more fries at McDonald's. There's going to be more burgers, more syrup for the drinks
the economy.
because it's not being used.
The economy is kind of made to be like, what should I say, dependent upon each other. So that's why they do. That's why they did the whole stimulus package to get people to go out there and spend. So
Yeah.
therefore, if you're telling people, hey, don't go to this place, yes, and you might not see a big change in the economy, but it will be a change in the economy.
Stop the insanity, period. That's my purpose of this video right here. This video right here is a wake-up call. Like, women, just because you love yourself and your curves or whatever doesn't mean that you need to be on Instagram in your underwear. Like, hey, everybody, I'm morbidly obese. Be like me. This is comfortable. This is great. As she's gasping for air, face all red, like she done ran a mile. Like, no. Like, you're clearly uncomfortable in your own skin, like literally physically, because we're watching you sweat your balls off, you know, as you're just literally putting clothes on and talking for 2 minutes. Like, when are we going to stop making excuses for this? When are we going to wake up and say, we look at you and we see your labored breathing, your red cheeks, the fact that you're barely able to communicate with us in a few minute sentence without, you heard it after a while, right? After I pointed it out, you
Yeah,
paid
I
attention.
did. That was messed up.
But it's, and the point of her video was so that more women around her size can feel like we should be able to do this. And it's not that you need to hide away or that you need to not go places or feel like you're not included in things. Like, nobody's saying that. It's just that stop promoting obesity. It's not healthy. Just stop.
This is your brain on drugs. This is your brain on
Right. This is your heart inside of a morbidly obese body. This is your heart inside of a regular body. Like, that's what we need to do. But anyway, you guys, definitely leave us your comments. Tell us what you think. We so appreciate you. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, and we will see you next time.